I think we can just kick it off. I'd love to sort of get your take on that 8-iron there that you have. And
Yeah, I mean, I think 8-iron's always the most critical club in the bag. You know, it's sort of, you can have a shape of club and, you know, or a shape of the toe especially, and then 8-iron is where it starts to sort of blend into the 9 and the wedge. So it can be a tricky club to get right.
Yeah.
And obviously I think you've done a great job on this one. You know, when I look down at that, you know, my mind is saying MB, you know, from the blade that I've played the last 2 or 3 years, it looks that kind of size. You know, I like the finish on it. I don't know if it's the exact finish that's going to be on it, but it's that nice matte, slightly duller finish, which I really, really enjoy. Takes a little bit of glare away. But size-wise, proportion, you know, lines, looks fantastic.
Great. Yeah, one of the things I remember we talked about was just like, you know, how an 8-iron should look different from a 9, and an 8 should look different from a 7. It's sort of that in-between club.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times you fall into that trap of making the 8 look like a 9.
Right.
Too rounded.
Too rounded, exactly, yeah.
And that's why, you know, on that top line there, we really want to make sure that it doesn't have too much of a round contour to it.
Yeah, I think the top line is, you know, fairly straight, but then the toe's got that nice rounded feel to it.
Nice.
That looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that would be a shot into a severe wind.
Definitely a flatter trajectory on that one.
Yeah, so
6,500.
Oh yeah, it's quite
So,
a
you know,
difference.
that's kind of,
You took off 2,000 RPMs on that versus
so
the
yeah,
last
that's
one.
kind of managing the spin loft, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said two words. You know, when I think about iron play, I think about feel and look.
Right.
And I was trying to think about what's the most important, but I think feel is the most important. You know, a club can look great, but if it doesn't feel good, you're going to fall out of love with it pretty quick. So for me, to have an iron feel good is the most important thing, and then the look. But those two are the two words you use, and I totally agree. That's the most important.
When you put it down, Justin, does it have to have that classic look for you? I mean, what are you looking at on a top line like that?
I don't think it has to have a classic look, but it has to have a look that works. All the proportions need to sort of work together. You know, if it's the hosel thickness, or if it's the top line edge, or if it's the flow of the toe. If you know, I've always kind of seen if you have a lot of offset, you need quite a pinched toe. You know, that's kind of a combination that works well together. Whereas this one doesn't have a ton of offset, but it's got that nice rounded look to it. Again, that works well. So, you know, you can have different shapes, but one needs to go with another. Do you know what I mean? Like, things need to complement one another.
Nice.
Yep, that was good.
Yeah.